Okay guys, welcome to Aussie Motor Tips here on YouTube, and today's a simple one but really important in my views. It's car thermostats. I've took this opportunity because the Vauxhall Zafira that I do this on needs a coolant change anyway, so I took the opportunity to skip the coolant change because I've got two of them on this channel already, and took the opportunity to show you a thermostat replacement and a thermostat housing disassembly, we'll call it, on a Vauxhall Zafira 1.6, 2007 to be precise. Yeah, I don't actually take the thermostat right out. The only being is the fact that I haven't got a new thermostat for it, or we didn't have. Yeah, I didn't have one, and I don't have a new gasket. But saying that, it's very, very simple, and I do actually explain how to take the thermostat out and where the gasket is. The gasket just sits in a bed in the housing. You'll see it. You'll see it. It's really simple. The gasket's kind of like a thick gasket. It's not a flat one. So it kind of just sits in a ridge around the housing, but you'll see. And when you want to do this job properly, follow the steps that I show you, and just with the only difference really is to swap it with a new thermostat and a new gasket instead of what I do, which I just clean it up basically and then put it back in. But I just took the opportunity, like we said, to take and show you this because the coolant was being changed anyway. So that's why I hopped on the bandwagon and took it out and filmed it to show you guys. Yeah, so this is how to take a thermostat out of a Vauxhall Zafira 2007, but if I'm honest, most cars they have different variations of thermostat housings and how the thermostat is attached to the engine, etc. So I would say this is specifically for a Zafira 2007. There's different locations for thermostat housings all over the place with different manufacturers of cars. So they could be anywhere. So do your research before you get your spanners out. So yeah, the bolts that I undo, there's 4 of them, and they are an 8mm socket. You don't need nothing special. That's what you need, is an 8mm socket or an 8mm spanner if you prefer. I don't think a spanner will cut it, but you can try. And yeah, do them up 8 Newton meters. I'll explain that anyway. But over hand tight is enough, I would have thought. But yeah, well, I'll explain all that anyway. So let's just get stuck in, and yeah. Okay, thermostat change, Vauxhall Zafira 2007. Let's get in there. Okay, so here we are at the Vauxhall Zafira. The thermostat housing is here. You kind of know that basically because the housings always look kind of the same on all vehicles. And here's your pipe leading to your radiator, and here's the radiator there. Hang on one second. Yeah, there. And then you got your cooling fan, etc, etc. So it's all linked up. So your thermostat is here. So disconnect this electrical connection that is attached to your CO2 sensor on your exhaust manifold. So disconnect that bad boy. So it's just literally press in and pull. There we go. And whilst you're there, have a look at this seal here. This orange seal can expand and crack. Check the condition of it. This looks pretty good. Just makes it a good seal for mainly any fluids. So now we're going to have to take this hose off, which will lead to coolant coming out of it. So what I'm going to do is get the appropriate tool, like a mole grip or something, and we're gonna what's the word? Wow! Grip this and push it in, make it expand so we can take this pipe off, and then yeah, coolant is gonna pour out. Before we do that, we will take this cap off of the coolant. There'll be a little bit of pressure, there will, because it got driven about 2 hours ago. There we go. Right, so that will now enable air to get in. So then the coolant will just drain. Because we're going to do a coolant change on this as well, which is in another video. I may catch that, I may not. But this is all to do with the thermostat, on where it is, etc. So let's get into this. Let me get some tools and I'll be back with you. Right, so got the appropriate tools. Hopefully this will get the hose off, and bear in mind there will be a lot of fluid that comes out. So I'm just pinching. I have to be a bit bigger. Just pinching this clip in here. Hopefully you can see it. Very awkward. Of course it's awkward. There we go. Oh, that's just got it. Hopefully it won't slip off. That'd be not the best. So we'll wiggle that out of the way. I would like to get a better grip on that, if I'm honest. And then we're going to twist the hose off, which seems pretty solid. I've just cut my knuckle as well. Yeah, this seems pretty solid, if I'm honest. Let's get a better grip on this clip a minute. It's not the best. The struggles are real. That's looking a bit better. We'll make it a bit closer as well. Okay. There we go. That's way better. Okay. Get it out of the way. Okay, now try and pull on this hose. Okay, it has gone, but so did the mole grip. Not the best. The mole grip is not seeing eye to eye with this clip at the minute. Okay. There it goes. Okay, we'll get this. And there she goes. Try not to get it over the electrical connectors if you can. Okay, so that's the hose off. And the reason why I wanted to get such a grip on this clip is because it's kind of got to stay there, if I'm honest. If I can. There it goes. Coolant everywhere. And actually the coolant looks dreadful. Hopefully it's meant to be orange on this car. Okay. So now we've got 3 bolts there, there, and down there, which we've got to undo. I'm using a 8mm socket on this. So that goes in there, and we're just gonna undo these. You see where I am?
Just going to undo them kind of evenly if we can, really. It's probably best. Okay. This is looking pretty good. This one's probably the most awkward one because there's a bracket right in the way. This lead's in the way, you know. There you go. Okay. I'm presuming there's only 3. I'm not 100% sure on that. Can't see anymore. Oh, yep, yeah, there is. There's another one down here. Of course, right underneath. So there's 4 in a box kind of pattern. Okay, so we'll try and get them off by hand now. They are pretty slack. Really awkward place this final one is. But as you can see, the housing is loose now, and I've got the most awkward bolt off. There it is. There's one, and as the reason why I took that off is to let air kind of let the coolant come out. And now we'll go with this one. Of course, most thermostat housing, they always come with a gasket replacement as well. So there's another bolt off. Okay, I'm going to get these last 2 off, and then we'll come back to you because this is going to go on forever. Okay, so we're on our last screw, and then the housing should come out. God damn it. You think they're hand tight and they never are they? Okay, that's all 4 out. And as you take it out, you can see the thermostat. Obviously loads of stuff is in the way. We've got an electrical connector there as well. But here is your thermostat. There we go. There we go. Cool. Okay, so thermostat should just literally wiggle out. We'll just get this electrical connector off, which you probably should have took off first, if I'm honest. There we go. Cool. Right, so there's your thermostat, guys. This one's looking pretty good, so I'm going to clean it up. I might order a new one at some point, but basically what happens with a thermostat is the water or your coolant will get to a certain temperature, and then it would open up the thermostat and let the water go through elsewhere, whatever the car manufacturer wants it to go, to make it cooler. That's how your engine regulates its temperature, its operating temperature. See how this one comes out in a minute. Yeah. So this springs down and then kind of rotates, so it's a bit of a ball ache, that is. Yeah, so this arm here springs down and then rotates and then gets off these arms. These arms are part of the housing. So what I'll do is I'll do that in a minute, because I need both hands. I need both hands. I've got both hands, but what I'm saying is I need the tools as well. 'Cause that is not. I can compress it, but I can't turn it. So I need like a screwdriver or something. So I'm going to play around with that. I'll get the thermostat out, and then I'll show you properly. Right, so now I've got this in the sunlight, really quite nicely actually. I have pretty much, the way to take it out is, like I said, that arm going right across there needs to be compressed. Took off that little edge there. I took off the housing arms here. So you kind of compress it down and then rotate it, and then the thermostat will come out. Also, what you want to do ideally is replace this gasket here. There's a gasket going right around. As you can see, I haven't done that, but that is ideal that you would replace that. They're not expensive parts, so please replace it. This one has been cleaned up as best I can, and yeah, we've checked the thermostat over, and well, it seems to be absolutely fine. We also know that the thermostat is working, because if you look at my Vauxhall Zafira review, we check the engine temperature anyway to see if it's regulating nicely, which then indicates this is actually working fine. Obviously, if the engine temperature was climbing like a son of a bitch, then either it's head gasket, or it's thermostat, or it's blocked radiator, that kind of thing. So we know we haven't got any of that. So yeah, that's what regulates the temperature in the engine. Okay, your coolant temperature, that is. I'm guessing this would probably start opening at around 85 to 90 degrees centigrade, and that's what keeps it at that. That is a guess, mind you. I don't make Zafiras, but I would have thought that's what it does. Okay, so let's get this back in the engine after you've cleaned it up. That is, don't just whack it back in. Give it a good clean. The electrical connector clean as well. Yeah, let's get it back in the car. Now you know how to take it out. Okay, double back here. It says 105 centigrade on the actual thermostat itself. Can you see that? I said it regulates around 90, so I don't mind being wrong. I don't know everything. That literally just caught my eye. So this would open at 105 degrees centigrade. I would have thought that would be fully open, mind, because that's quite hot. So this possibly would avoid engine overheating. If anything, this is its main purpose, I would say, at 105, because that's hotter than what a normal engine would be. So yeah, that's interesting. That's 105 then, I'm guessing. Okay. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I don't mind being wrong, but this is what I'm thinking. Cheers, guys. Okay, so now that's all cleaned up and prepped. Ideally, like I said, a new gasket, for example, right there, it's more compressed than here. You can see that. So yeah, that's the ideal situation. New gasket, new thermostat, jobs are good. Then you would obviously connect the electrical connector back up onto the thermostat, which is always easier said than done. There she goes. Okay. It doesn't feel exactly right, but there we go. And then we'll just give the housing a quick wipe down. As you can see, that's not in the best shape. You don't want any leaks, so I'm just going to give that a quick wipe down. Nothing special really, just treat it like a little bit like an oil filter housing. Obviously that needs to be cleaned too to get a good seating position. Okay, now let's get this thermostat back in. So it's kind of like a gentle persuasion. You don't want to be forcing anything in. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass because there is some stuff in the way. There we go. Okay. Then, obviously, because I slipped a little bit there, I'm just checking that the thermostat is okay still. Let's see, seating right, which it is. Line it up, and then bolts back in. It is recommended though that if you're going to do this, then you just as well change the coolant completely as well. So have a flush, coolant flush with deionized water or distilled water. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have actually got a video on my channel all pretty much to do with that. So check that out. That is on a Mini though, that's not on a Zafira, and it is actually on a Suzuki GSXR and not a Zafira, so, but it's the same principle. So these bolts I'm going to get in and pretty tight, and then we're going to start filming again because you guys don't want to see this bit. I mean, we all know what I'm doing here. We're just putting all the bolts back in that kind of box formation, 2 top, 2 bottom. Okay, so that's what we're doing. You can see 1, 2, and then at the bottom 3, 4. We're going to do them up, and then I'm going to tell you the torque settings for these as well, just to be more helpful. I hope this isn't too dark. It is pretty dark down here, isn't it? Okay, so let's do these up and then put the hose back on. I'll start recording again. Okay, so the last bolt's going on, as you can see, and we're going to do it up to just over hand tight, or if you want to be really technical, it's 8 Newton meters, which is not exactly majorly tight, but I suppose you need to know these things, because if you've got a new gasket on there, then the gasket requires a certain torque, which again is 8 Newton meters. That's 8. Okay, so cool, that's done up. Thermostat's clean, gasket's clean. Now for the hose, clearly get this radiator hose back on the housing, which is really quite easy actually. Well done, Vauxhall. Everything's really easy to get to, if I'm honest. Now there's always like a I don't know, like a cutout on the hose where the original position was, and as you can see there, there's on the housing there's like a little groove there. What I would do is always put it back in that position. You see that? Don't know if you can. So see that little dent in the hose? It's going to go and meet that again. You always want it in the original position, if I'm honest. It's probably best, because that's where it's been seated the whole of its life. And the mole grips have come off again. Oh god, man, mole grips are just so overrated. Now it's pinching the hose. Great. One sec. Trying to get some leverage on it. You know what? I'm going to keep this recording because this stuff just happens. This crap just happens all the time. Okay, there we go. We've got it. Okay. Now I'll let it go again, as much as I don't want to. And then slide it, if you can, in the original position as well as where it came. There we go. So I would say about there. Then let it go. Nice and gentle. There we go. Oh, that's not happy with that. I'm going to swear in a minute. Right there. It keeps going cockeyed. You see that? I mean, that would do the job. I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm a perfectionist, and that's not good enough for me. So I'm going to get it in the right seating position, and then I'll show you afterwards. As you can see as well, look, as I've been piss-assing around, that's now come away from exactly what I told you to do. It's come away from that little groove. So I'm going to get this all right, and then I'm going to show you afterwards, alright? Because this has been a pain. Okay, so that's a lot better, as you can see. I mean, be my guest and rewind this video to see what it was like before. But that's a lot better. That's meeting with that. That's pretty much on where it was, the clip. So yeah, that's all good. Have a feel around for any cracks and holes, because these things do happen. And I'm feeling around. I can't feel nothing. And obviously, when you put the new coolant in, it'll certainly spring a leak if you've cracked the hose, which is obviously not a good thing. But I can't feel nothing. And the bolts are done up to 8 Newton meters. Again, though, just over hand tight is my kind of spec. I know that's quite unprofessional of me, but that's kind of what I do. It's never failed me. So okay, so that's it, and then we do the coolant change, which is a completely different video, I'm afraid. We want to connect this one up though, which is your CO2 sensor on your exhaust, just like that. You just push it in. I'll show you that again, because I just did it right off the back. So you got a little catch there on that electrical connector. It just goes into that hole there. If you watch carefully, give it a bit of force, it'll click. There you go, like that. Okay, make sure it clicks, and then it goes into a little holder there, so it doesn't make contact with your heat shield on your exhaust manifold, which is not a good thing for electrics. Okay, cool. And then what you would do then is start the engine, and make sure that, this is after the coolant change by the way, make sure that the thermostat is going to do its job at 105, because we know that now, because we've seen it at 105 centigrade. So leave it running, see if the fan cuts in, etc, etc, like it behaves like it should. If it doesn't, investigate more. It should throw up fault codes, but if it does behave, which it probably should, it probably will, then you've got a new thermostat in there. Job's good un. Thanks for watching, and we'll just do a quick review now. Cheers. Okay, so what we're doing is checking for leaks around the hose, obviously. because that's where we operate, is here. As the temperature goes up, I think we're at 77 at the minute. You can see a little bit of smoke coming. That's going to be normal because coolant did go everywhere, so that's going to be normal. But what we're looking for is leaks, like definite leaks coming from this area. The edge of the pipe and where the gasket meets the housing is where we're looking. At the minute I can't see nothing, so we're going to go round and have a look at the temperature. We're at 81, 82, which is fine. It's not climbing it's not climbing really fast, which is a good thing. Obviously the Vauxhall Zafira has no temperature gauge on the dash, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, we're on 83 now. Go around again. So 77 is where I checked for the leaks. Now we're at 83. Looking at the housing again. Being careful not to burn myself, obviously. Yeah, that's getting damn hot now. So as you know, it opens at 105. So, well, what best way to do it than to check, see if it does open at 105. And I'm guessing the fan will cut in at 105 as well. But yeah, still no leaks. So we'll wait for it to get to quite a hot temperature and then we'll check for leaks again. Okay, so it did actually reach 105 then. I didn't catch it on camera, and now it's dropping, severely dropping. So let's have a look. So what that is telling me is the thermostat's working as it should. Either that or the OBM reader is not working, but I severely doubt that. Did I say OBM? I can't remember what it's called now. Yeah, we're at 80. The thermostat opened at 105. Unfortunately, I didn't catch it on camera. I'll try and catch it on camera again for you. It went to 105 really quite quickly, and then dropped, severely dropped, to about 77 again, which indicates that the thermostat opened. So we'll try and catch that again. Okay, this coolant system is working too efficiently for me to actually show you what happened. So you're gonna have to take my word for it really. It's at 99 now. I'm trying to get it at about 103 is where it maxed out. Oh, here we go, 100. So 105 is where the thermostat actually opens, apparently. It's at 100 now. I'm trying to get it so it would open. As you can see by the red mark, 101, it should drop in a minute where the thermostat opens. Thing is, when you step on the accelerator, it speeds up the water pump, doesn't it? Can't really win. Come on. Bit of a waiting game, unfortunately, but I'm really trying to get it to that red mark. If you see that red mark, that's 105 or 104, I think it is. That's where it hit a minute ago and then dropped right down to about 77, like pretty much instantly. That's a big indication that the thermostat is working as it should. But I didn't catch it on.
Okay, so there you go. That is how you change a thermostat on a Vauxhall Zafira. things that went wrong. Well, nothing. Well, that clip was a bit of a pain to get back on. But to be honest, I didn't really have manly mole grips on hand. The mole grips were pretty bad. If you had big ones, it would probably be a lot easier. No cracks in the pipe. The temperature was really hard to get up to 105. It did do it, but unfortunately I didn't catch it on camera efficiently enough. But you could see the marks where it hit 105 and then dropped right back down to 77. Yeah, so that went wrong. That I didn't catch that on camera. Things that went wrong, nothing else. Things that went right, well, I didn't need a new gasket. I mean, it's recommended, but I didn't need one. There was no cracks in the gasket. The thermostat was looking good. It wasn't wonky. Sometimes when you take them out, it'll be like that. That's the problem, because obviously the spring has decompressed unevenly and stayed there. That's a problem. It can happen. But yeah, when I took it out, it looked absolutely fine. The spring and the thermostat looked great. What else went right? I had the tools. Yeah, no, it's a simple job, really. So get stuck in and change those thermostats. The Vauxhall Zafira housing is very high on the engine, so it's fantastic to get to. On the Mini, it's really low, and it's under the battery tray, which is crazy, but that's where it is. So yeah, some cars are easier to change than others. So yeah, there you go. As simple as that, guys. I hope that's helped. Sorry that I didn't actually change it for new, but I just took the opportunity because the car was having a coolant change anyway. So I just took the opportunity to take it out and show you guys. Okay, that's basically it. Cheers for watching, subscribe, and well, watch the rest of my videos. I am trying very hard. They've slowed down a bit now because things have mellowed out on the whole mechanic side. Okay, cheers, man.